Hey guys, welcome back to Poor Man Mods. We are doing today the second stage upgrade to our front brakes on the 86. I know we already did WillWood kit, but Gabriel Techno Toy Tuning provided the newer, larger kit. It's two-piece. Advantages are going to be that we get all new hardware with this kit, so we're not going to use a lot of the hardware that you saw us reuse previously. And it is obviously a larger kit, so it'll have more stopping authority or power. You are going to see us pull this apart a bit.
It's a lighter kit too, right?
It's a lighter kit.
Yeah, this half the rotor is going to be aluminum instead of steel.
Yeah, so that's an advantage. You're going to have your sockets, some needle nose pliers, some regular wrenches, 10 to 12 is good to have on hand. An impact's going to be handy. Allen keys for a couple things. You'll see us go through it and you'll see what happens next. Again, thank you to Techno Toy Tuning for providing said parts. Let's get to it. We're going to tear down the first kit and install this second kit. Okay, so step one is pretty much the reverse of what we did before. We need to remove the center cap protecting the hub. And so you just get yourself a little pry bar, hammer it around, and pry off this top hat just like you saw me do before. And once it comes off enough, you should just be able to, just like that, pull it off. And then we're looking back at what we looked at before with our lock nut, spindle nut, top hat carrier, pinion bearing, turbocharged thing. And remember what I said before about replacing your hardware. It's usually a good thing to do. You don't need to do it this time because we just did it and put 0 miles in the car, but if you haven't done it already, replacing these pieces makes it a lot easier to work on. We're going to remove a nut. And then we're going to stop working on the wheel for just a minute because we can't pull that off until we get this brake rotor removed. We're going to start by removing the caliper from the caliper bracket that you saw us previously install. Loosen the fastener for the brake line. The brake lines are the same between these two kits, so I'm going to reuse these. You're not going to see me reinstall brake lines onto the car because they are the same thread pitch and inner diameter as the new kit. Move our old caliper. With that done, you're going to remember your wheel bearing, the inner and the outer, ride inside of the hub assembly, which is attached to the rotor. You're going to pop this forward a little bit, which frees up your wheel bearing and the thrust washer. Set that aside. Try to keep that stuff clean because you're going to be reusing it. Then we're going to pop off this assembly. That was a little worse than I thought it would be. And then we're going to go over to a vise. Alright, so once again, there are 4 14mm bolts that hold the hub assembly to the back of the rotor. Remember that if you have not watched the original section of brake videos when we did all this, I'd recommend to replace, if you have a lot of miles in your car, your races and at minimum your bearings. We're not going to be doing that in this video because we've just done that. So we're going to pull these off and then we'll start assembling the new stuff already. So we're going to pull off this last bolt and then separate the rotor from the hub assembly, so you guys will see what that looks like here in just a minute. That worked out fairly well, actually. So I dropped it through.
Couldn't do that again if you tried.
Probably not. And then your rotor separates from your hub. So remember that the hub and rotor on these cars are 2 separate pieces. So now we're going to attach the new aluminum section and put the 4 new bolts with lock washers that we have into the hub, which we'll see in just a second. I gotta go get it.
We're gonna try to get a weight difference in the 1-piece rotor and the 2-piece rotor. So right here is the 1-piece WillWood rotor, and it weighs in at 12 pounds, it looks like. Yep, so right about 12 pounds for the 1-piece. Set that on there with the aluminum bracket. Okay, so the 2-piece rotor is about 1 pound lighter. This is about 11 pounds, maybe 10.5. So it's bigger and it's lighter. So all around, it's better, more badass.
So you can, again, put Loctite on these if you choose to, but I'm not going to. we have locking washers, and I'm not really concerned about these backing off. Also, if you can or can't notice, I'm going to have to take this mostly back apart again. Done something wrong with the initial installation, but this wheel seal is gone. So I'm going to have to...
Yeah, it was all those hard miles that you put on.
All the hard miles I did on this car, but the wheel seal here is shot. So good thing we're doing this because that wheel seal is fucking gone. So let's just kind of put these on. We are going to remove the OEM stock caliper and rotor bracket with the Techno toy tuning piece that you saw us put on before. These are 14mm bolts, and you're just going to break them free and then remove this piece. So what you have to do here is you take this last bolt off and this bracket comes out. Like I was saying, this is the Techno toy tuning piece. This is the OEM Toyota piece that didn't turn out that great. You set that aside. You grab this awesome Techno toy tuning. It's aluminum, custom one off. It's labeled on both sides. Bracket, and this slides over to replace, and this allows you to mount that larger caliper. So you just take this guy and you seat it. You could put Loctite on that if you want, or anti-seize. I put anti-seize on this before, and I'm not going to again because there's still plenty left inside the holes. I'm not too concerned about it. And they're pretty damn tight. Okay, so we're getting ready to mount the two-piece assembly together. It's important to remember this is directional vaning, so there's handy dandy enough a rotational arrow that shows which way the wheel should spin. Mike, if you can see that there? This is actually engraved in the face of the rotor. Mm-hmm. And this is the section, this is the front face that's going to mount to this. So, Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, so that was fun. So as clearly as this is to, fucking God, Jesus fucking Christ.
What is it?
Fucking nut just flew my goddamn nose and drive me nuts, God. All right, woo!
Every time I film with you, the episodes are rated R.
I don't give a fuck. Here we go. So we do get hardware for this, and I am going to Loctite these. They are directional. This is the right-hand side for this car. They are labeled as such as well. So I really am appreciative of this newer kit and how it's being put together and presented. There's a lot of Loctite on that one.
So it's a good kit, huh?
You know, for the money that you're going to pay different between the two kits, if the original one's even still offered at this point, this one's definitely the better buy, just for the newer hardware and the ease of installation and assembly. So that's nice. That's a really nice benefit, is that this is all going to just be very easy to work together.
Not to mention enough brake power to do endos.
Yeah, for the front of this car and as light as it's going to be. We have inserted these bolts with lock washers with Loctite on them. You definitely don't want this backing out. You do and have the option of replacing the bolts that come with it with safety line bolts, so you can actually run safety line throughout the entire kit if you wanted. Again, I'm not a pro drifter. I'm not a pro racetrack driver. Loctite with lock washers and some sufficient torque, and I really don't think I'm going to have any problems. So I'm going to start by running these in. The installation of this is done. We've secured, checked by hand. These are completely seated and locked down, and once the Loctite seals, they'll pretty much be solid on there. Now what you want to do is pretty much reverse your installation. You're going to reseat your blown out wheel seal and your rotor assembly, just as such, and then just quickly check, make sure your arrow of direction is still going where you want it. And then you just reinstall everything the reverse of how you took it out. You put your bearing with your thrust washer in, which it's around here somewhere, right there, right? And then you take your nut, and then we're gonna cover this again because a lot of people didn't understand. A lot of people didn't understand what this is about. Jesus fucking Christ. Can you believe that shit about that wheel seal? Fuck my life. The stupid fucking luck I have with this stupid fucking car.
Dude, it was the first time. It was the first time we did wheel seals.
I don't fucking care. It's my second time doing wheel seals. It's your fucking fault.
How the fuck is it?
It's your fucking fault.
I filmed the whole thing.
I don't fucking care. It's your fault. You gave me the wheel seal tool, and it's not the right wheel seal tool. That's why it's fucking not right. I didn't even use it to put together. I don't fucking care. It's your fault. I'm blaming you.
All right.
You're a fucking piece of fucking God. Fuck this stupid fucking car. I'm gonna sell it. I'm gonna buy a Del Sol. I'm gonna make everyone really angry. I'm gonna buy a really old Del Sol. Next permanent mod episode, I'm gonna fucking crush the car. Are you recording?
No.
Good. And we're gonna go through this again because no one really understood it. What you're doing with this is you have the spindle nut, a thrust washer, and then your bearings. And really it doesn't matter so much on this one because I'm gonna have to pull it back off to replace that wheel seal, but we're gonna run through the process. Is you put this on finger tight, and then you grab a torque wrench and you set it to 27 foot-pounds, and you're gonna take this and tighten it up to 27 foot-pounds. But you're not gonna leave it there. Okay, that would not be the correct answer. What you're doing by putting load on it is you're putting preload. So you smash the whole assembly together and set it where it should be, and then you loosen it up so the nut's loose again, and then you just put it so there's just a little bit of tension on it, like right about there-ish, which you guys can't feel. So now you've created the, according to the factory, the correct amount of preload on the bearings to have to operate efficiently. So then you put your crown nut? That's not a crown nut.
It's just like a
cover nut. There's probably a technical term for that, like there is everything. And then you put your cotter pin back in. You are pretty much essentially done. I'm not going to put that really too much back more in place than that, strictly because I have to pull it back apart.
If you were to put it on, how do you put it on?
Slowly with a screwdriver, and you hammer around the outside edge. So then the rotor spins pretty free and good, minus the fact the wheel seal is blown, and now we get to install our big caliper.
All right, so to play into the weight savings, we already weighed the rotors. You saw the difference in that. Here's the factory steel Toyota caliper. We got pads in all of them to get an accurate weight. That one is about 8 pounds. That's the factory Toyota one. Here's the smaller of the two WillWood calipers, the one that we just took off. That one weighs in about 4, maybe 4.5 pounds. So that is definitely the lightest. That's probably the lightest caliper I've ever seen. Now the bigger WillWood caliper. That one's right about 7 pounds. So it's heavier than the other WillWood caliper, but it's lighter than the original steel caliper. And you can see the weight might not be a huge difference, but when you compare the sizes of everything, I mean, that's a pretty good weight savings in my book. Plus the fact it's unsprung weight makes a massive difference compared to just losing weight anywhere else off the car.
All right, so here's our new WillWood goodness. It's pretty sexy. We're gonna bolt this right up to what is the Techno toy tuning bracket, which Mike probably will want to come around the underside of the car to get a good view of.
I'm pretty sure it's bigger than your head.
I don't know if that's a compliment or an insult.
It's a compliment.
What's the sound that a lion makes?
Rawr.
Okay. Alright, so oddly enough, and I hate stuff like this, but these are 16mm bolts. So you're going to need a 16mm socket.
That is a unique size.
It is, which probably means that these are a standard size. You could probably explain veining, do a short mini video on how veining works. Now you can see the front here.
We already did it and it just confused everybody.
That's very true. Okay, so our caliper is now secure. Our rotor's spinning freely inside of here, not making contact with. The great thing about WillWoods is you can just drop, and this is kind of common to some calipers, but not all. You can drop pads right in the top. And yes, I will put some anti-squeal on the back of these, but until I replace that wheel seal, you can tell I'm not at all bitter about. I'm not going to bother doing that because this is all coming back off. You take your center brace, put it in, run your bolt through with your Allen head, put your nut down here. This just secures your brake pad in place. Fitting for the caliper, which you're not going to be able to see me install because Mike's on the wrong side.
Well, you could wait for me.
I could.
You dick.
Okay, so now you spin this on, get it going. You need a wrench to get going all the way. Okay, we need a little bit more out of this. Okay, let's try that again. Hey, what do you know? So thanks again to Gabriel at Techno Toy Tuning and the great staff and support for people over there. Hopefully, if you guys go out, check out his site, buy in this stuff that you've seen us put on, these videos are a great help and asset to you. He makes some of the finest stuff in the Toyota community, not just for the 86. So check his website out, it'll be in the description of the video. And we look forward to reviewing more stuff from him in the future and getting these videos up as fast as possible.
The next installment of Toyota Mods, Toyota Tundra power plant and a Corolla.
Yeah, the four-wheel drive system.
One UZ.
So we're gonna clean up and we're gonna go home and we're gonna come back another weekend soon and do more brake work.
It's all we do on this channel. Brakes and brakes. This is like the 9th video brakes for this car. I've done on the Subaru, the Sentra, the Subaru, every car.
Build your car, don't break it.
Yeah.
Break your car, don't break it. So, thanks for joining us. Again, Techno Toy Tuning's website's in the description. Buy stuff from Gabriel. He's fucking awesome. These products are awesome. Like, comment, subscribe, and feel free to keep up to date with all of our projects. See you next time.